Hey there guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is all about intermittent fasting and how it works. So if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I'm a massive fan of intermittent fasting. It's basically what I'm all about. I love intermittent fasting. I do intermittent fasting every day. It's how I've lost a huge amount of weight across my life. It's how I've lost probably, I don't know how heavy I was at my heaviest weight, because if you are very overweight, you're not always that keen to get on the scales, as you may know. So I don't know what my heaviest weight was, but I can tell you I've lost way over 100 pounds. So and I've successfully kept that off due to intermittent fasting, because when I have lost the weight with other diets before, you know, I put that weight back on, and at one point I put more back on. So intermittent fasting has been the only diet where I've kind of you know, I've been able to maintain the weight loss, because it's not that difficult. Let's do a quick quick overview of intermittent fasting for those of you that may not know what it is. It's basically changing your eating pattern. It's not actually a diet. It's not actually about changing your foods or anything like that. It's actually just changing when you eat and how often you eat. So the most popular sort of method of intermittent fasting is the 16-8 method, which is basically 16-hour fast and then an 8-hour eating window. So you can only eat within those 8 hours. Now it sounds like a lot, 16 hours, but if you include the fact that most people sleep at least 8 hours a day, some people more, teenagers 10 hours, you know, there's not that much time where you're actually awake that you're not eating, and a bit of it is the previous day and a bit of it is you know, the morning of the following day. So for example, I usually do 16-hour fast and the 8-hour window, as I said. So I do that from 12 noon up until 8 PM. That would be my eating window. So I'd normally go to bed about 10 or 11. So I've got 2 or 3 hours without eating there. And then the next day I will wait until 12. I do wake up quite early, wake up about 7ish. So you know, I've got then 5 hours there where I can't eat. Now for me personally, it's not that difficult, because you know, I've never been a breakfast person. I feel ill when I eat in the mornings. Just me being honest. It's different for everyone, of course, but I feel sort of uneasy eating too much early in the morning. So it's not that difficult for me personally. Obviously it will depend on your schedule. Perhaps you work nights, you need to rearrange the hours, but the whole point here is it's 8 hours a window in which you can eat. Doesn't matter when the 8-hour window is, it's just that's the point. Now intermittent fasting works because when you have this 16 hours, all of that time your blood sugar, your insulin levels are basically zero, you know, throughout the fasting period. So when insulin is basically a hormone which is released when sugar is in your bloodstream. So when you eat something with calories in it, insulin will be released and it will remove it from your blood. That's basically the function, roughly. So when insulin is present in your blood, you cannot burn fat. You won't burn fat. It's not possible when it's present in your bloodstream. So when you're on the fast, you're keeping it, you know, at zero. You're keeping it very, very, very low, and that allows you to basically start ketosis, which is the burning of fat. So your body starts just running off of pure fat instead of your stored sort of sugar, glycogen, glucose, whatever, in the muscles, in the liver. It will quickly burn off those stores, which are probably about a couple of 100 calories worth, and you'll start to run on body fat for the majority of that time. And that is basically why intermittent fasting works, because you're keeping your blood sugar that low that you're just burning fat constantly. Your body becomes more accustomed to burning fat instead of sugar. Most people, their body is just constantly running on sugar. Most people just eat throughout the day. There's never a break for your body to digest the food, and you know, there's never any point where your insulin really drops that low, only when you're asleep. So you know, intermittent fasting allows you to, you know, drop that blood sugar right down, get burning fat, And another benefit really to intermittent fasting that sort of makes it work as well is because you've got a shorter eating window, you subconsciously eat less calories just because there's less time. You know, if you start eating straight away after 12, maybe have a large meal, then you're not going to be hungry again for a few hours. And because you've been so long without food, you do get, you know, your stomach gets filled quicker. You know, the stomach shrinks when you're not eating a lot, and you know, you will feel full quicker. So as soon as you've eaten something after the fast, within the next sort of 30 minutes, so you will feel extremely full. And remember, you've only got 8 hours in which to eat. And if you've got other things to do and stuff, it's not good that you're going to be sitting down and eating for 8 hours straight. It's just that you're going to eat your usual meals within that 8 hour period. So you probably won't eat your usual sort of calories, won't eat the same quantity of food as you would normally when you're eating breakfast and things. Now, this is basically, obviously, in the time period that I do intermittent fasting, it involves skipping breakfast. There are people that say, oh, you know, you're more likely to be fat if you skip breakfast. Studies on this and that kind of thing. Well, actually, if you skip breakfast, various studies have shown that you will eat more throughout the day, but it won't be the same amount of calories, you know, as if you've eaten breakfast. So, say for example, you have a 600 calorie breakfast, yeah? Well, if you skip breakfast, you probably eat, you know, 400 calories extra throughout the day, but it won't be 600, like, as it, you know, you'll be 200 less. You know, it won't be the same amount as if you'd eaten a whole breakfast. You know, it will just be a little bit extra because you've skipped. It won't be the same quantity, you know. So don't worry about, you know, skipping breakfast. I know all those old myths about breakfast is the most important meal of the day. No, it's not. It doesn't matter when you eat. You can eat whenever you want. You could eat just once a day at 1 AM, all your food, and it'll be the same. You know, it doesn't matter. Your body doesn't care if you eat in the morning, in the night, whatever. It just, you know, you've got a certain amount of maintenance calories, and that's what you need, and your nutrients and that kind of thing. So it's not that important, you know, to have breakfast, for example. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. You know, the thing with intermittent fasting is just you need to eat within your times, and it's that simple. Sometimes you may, you know, you may go past the time. You may fast a bit longer than you were intending. You know, you just didn't notice the time. Or you may have, you know, been eating a little bit over 8 PM. Don't try and correct that. You know, don't try and the next day do even longer fast because you ate 15 minutes extra. No, it doesn't really matter that much. Obviously, you try to stick to the 8 hours, but you don't want to go into a cycle of like trying to, you know, overeating in your time and then just, you know, trying to fast too much. It just turns into a bad cycle. So if you have one bad day, just write it off and just carry on as normal and start from, you know, 12 or to 8. So don't worry about that. Another option with intermittent fasting, of course, is you can extend the fasting period if you get used to intermittent fasting. To start with, you want to do 16 hours because otherwise it'll be too hard, especially if you're very accustomed to a lot of sugar. You'll start to feel lightheaded, dizzy and things when you first start, if you're not used to it at all and you're used to just constantly eating throughout the day. But once you're, of course, used to intermittent fasting, you can start to do, you know, longer fasts, 18 hours, 20 hours even. It's not that difficult if you keep busy. It's not that difficult, and obviously the more you do it, the more you get used to it and that kind of thing. 18 hours isn't much different to 16, and it will have a bit more of an effect as far as fat loss is concerned. If you did pure 20-hour fast, for example, you would lose weight incredibly fast. It is quite a lot harder to do. I personally did a lot of 20-hour fasts when I used to work 10-hour shifts, and I'd have to get up at about 5 AM in the morning, and I would start work at 6 and then I'll finish at 4, and then I'd have to walk home. So that obviously burnt a lot of time there, you know, because I wouldn't eat at all throughout the day. You know, there will be, you know, until I went to work I wouldn't eat, and then I'll be there 10 hours and then I'll have to come back to, you know, back home, and that's, you know, almost all of the fast completed then, and when you count obviously the sleeping time and stuff. So it's not that difficult. It depends on your schedule, how active you are, all kinds of things like that. But you know, you can try and improve the fast, the length of the fast. If you want to increase fat burning, basically, if you want to lose weight faster, you can increase that time. Now, another thing is drinking. You can. I'm not talking about alcohol. You can drink while you're on the fast, of course. It's not like a religious fast where you can't drink or eat. You can drink on this fast because obviously the purpose of it is fat burning and, you know, overall health. So you're allowed to drink, drinks that won't ruin the fast. You won't break the fast. So 0-calorie drinks, basically. Black coffee's fine. Black coffee is actually very beneficial on a fast. I believe I've said about that in other videos. You know, it can increase autophagy, which is basically what happens when you are fasting for an extended period of time. It's the breakdown of old cells and sort of replenishing, old cells, that kind of thing. It's very good for the body, very good to prevent illness, that kind of thing. And coffee will accelerate that even more. So black coffee is fine. Of course, no sugar, no cream, and no sweet, no milk, nothing. It needs to be just black, because any calories will break the fast. So you drink black coffee, you drink water, sparkling water, no flavoured waters, because even if something is 0-calorie, if it's got sweetness in it, it will cause an insulin response. You know, your body will think that it is sugar, basically, and just the taste of sweetness will increase insulin in the blood, and that will ruin your fast. So there are people that debate this, but it's not worth risking it. Just don't do it. There's plenty of other options to drink anyway. You can put a small amount of lemon in water. That won't break the fast. You can drink green tea, peppermint tea, chamomile, that kind of thing. Be careful with fruit teas that are sweet. They can break the fast, especially sometimes they've got actual pieces of fruit in them, sweeteners. So just be careful on that. But you know, I know personally, I just drink black coffee in the morning, like 2-3 cups of black coffee, and then I'll just drink water, sparkling water. And then, you know, you don't need to drink that much before you start eating anyway, and then after that you can drink whatever you want, any normal sort of, you can drink juice, whatever. You know, it's just up until 12. Once your window starts, then you can change what you drink. Obviously try and be healthy, but you know, that's it. So that's how intermittent fasting works. I hope this has been of help to you, and you've learned something, and it will just help you, you know, start intermittent fasting or continue intermittent fasting and burn as much weight off as possible. So thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a like.